Hello everybody, today I'm making sourdough bread in my bread making machine. Now this is not a traditional sourdough bread. What I do is I add a half a cup of sourdough to my regular bread machine recipe. You can see I have my flour ready to go. You can see my traditional yeast blooming in the red cup. Because I'm using sourdough and it has liquid, I reduced my water to 1 cup. It usually asks for 1.5 cups, but because the sourdough is liquidy, I reduce my water. I don't use milk in my bread. I find that it makes it dry. I'm just going to go in closer. You can see my sourdough. It sat all night long, and you can see the little bubbles, and it smells really good. What the sourdough does to my bread recipe is it adds a lot of flavor. What's going to happen next is I'm going to stir down. I stirred it. Anyhow, I did stir it down, say that one fast, a few minutes ago. But what you want to do is you just want to make sure that you're getting your true half cup. Okay, I have taken out my half cup of sourdough. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to add all my wet ingredients into my sourdough loaf pan. I do a 2-pound loaf, which makes big slices of bread, and we'll talk about what I do with it when it's done. I'm just going to add all my liquids in together, and this time I'm not going to forget to add my butter. Okay, I've added all of the ingredients. I put the liquids at the bottom. I'm not sure if that's the way you're supposed to do it. That's the way I do it, and it seems to work for me. This is my bread maker. I'm going to set it at the 2-pound loaf, and I do like quite a dark crust. No, I have it set to medium crust, and it will go for 3 hours and 25 minutes. Okay, you can see that my bread maker is actually doing all the kneading for me. And I found, as being a senior, sometimes my hands and joints get a bit sore. And I found that the bread maker works for me. In a few minutes, I'll come back and you'll see what the dough should look like. Now, depending on the weather situation in your part of the country, you may have to add a bit more water, a bit more flour. I used to make 12 loaves of bread at one time when my children were small. Now I just make the 1 loaf. You can see it looks a little bit wet right now, but as it goes through the kneading process, what will happen is it will actually be nice and smooth. I can tell if it's a good dough just by looking at it and from baking bread over the many, many years. Now you can see the dough coming together. I'm using bread flour, so it has a bit more gluten in it. And what I did with this recipe, because I'm using sourdough, I actually reduced the amount of yeast that I use. I can share my bread recipe with you, but you do have to adjust it according to the weather that you're having that day. If it's raining and all that kind of good stuff, you need a little bit less flour, probably more flour. And on a dry day, on a hot day, the flour is going to be quite dry, so you would probably need a little bit less. And that's where you kind of take a look at the dough, and this is coming together quite nicely. So I'm going to let the bread maker do its thing, and I'll come back after it's done the kneading process. So right now the dough is resting, and the bread machine will come back on in a minute or two and complete the kneading process. And I'll come back once that's done to show you what the dough looks like in the end. So there you can see that the bread maker is kneading the dough quite vigorously, and it's coming together really nicely. and I'll give you one last picture of it fully kneaded, and then it goes to its rise time. Here it is, folks, my finished bread. It rose really, really well, so I think next time I'll reduce my yeast even a little bit more. I'm going to take it out of the pan and I'll come back and you'll see what it looks like. So there you go. You can see it's quite a big loaf of bread, and I like the crispiness of the crust. And when it's fully cooled, I'll show you a piece of it to show you the texture. Hello everyone, this is the finished product of my bread maker bread with sourdough added into it. It's nice and spongy. See how it bounces right back up, and it's nice and brown and just looks really, really good. I will try and add what I did. You've seen the procedure, so I'll add the ingredients I've used, and hopefully if you want to try it, let me know what happens. Have a good day and talk to you again.